Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to the Power Platform and Dynamics 365 Technical Update Briefing for September 23rd, 2021. This session is hosted by a group of customer engineers from Microsoft that focus on the Power Platform, Dynamics 365, and business applications. Today, for the Power Platform and Dynamics 365 customer engagement apps topics, we have Gilles Boevi, who will be our presenter, and then myself, Ryan Anderson, I'll be doing the moderating. And in a moment, I'll pass it over to our finance and operations colleagues to introduce themselves. For those listening live, you can post your questions on the Teams Live event Q&A, and we'll do our best to answer those throughout the webcast. There won't be any mechanism during this call for any kind of audio questions. We'll also be posting a survey during the session where you can provide your feedback. That'll show up under the announcements. So we would love to hear your feedback on this session and make this as valuable as possible. And also that survey will be anonymous. And finally, you can find more content, including this slide deck and also a recording afterwards on our blog. I'll post those in the links to those in the announcements as well. You can find us on Twitter at PFE Dynamics, and then we'll also be posting the recording onto our YouTube channel, where you can find us at PFE Dynamics as well. So with that, I will send it over to Kenneth to introduce the finance and ops side.
Okay. Thank you, Ryan. So representing the finance and operations side of Dynamics 365 is Ryan Sanders, customer engineer, who will be your presenter for today, and myself, Kenneth Kildegard, also customer engineer, and I'll be the moderator. So with that said, I will pass it over to Gilles, who will start the presentation. Go ahead, Gilles.
All right, and thank you, Kenneth, and welcome everyone. Today we're going to get started by talking about the featured news for Dynamics 365 and Power Platform. So as a quick note, the content deck and the web recording will be available on the Dynamics 365 community blog for download. All right, so getting started. Our first deck is around the on-demand events. I just want to make sure that everyone is aware of where to get the great content of our past event of Microsoft Build, Ignite, and BizApps, which are available today online, right? On demand, sorry. So the Microsoft Build is the main developer event for the year, where we unveil latest features and product capabilities and roadmap that helps developer, right? I would say that the BizApps and the Ignite will showcase more product features and capabilities roadmap that helps administrators and end users. Of course, all these different and targeted events come with, I would say, rich content, and it gives you access to a lot of information, both of Dynamics 365 and Power Platform new features, as well as other technologies are highlighted and covered. So really, the main message here is to make sure that you take advantage of all these free on-demand information. So let's dive into the customer engagement apps side of the thing. So at this point, I hope that everyone is aware of the 2021 release wave 2 release schedule. So basically, just a quick summary, we release 2 waves per year. We release in April, the wave 1, where we roll out features from April to September. And in October, we release the wave 2, where we roll out features from October to March next year, and we start over again, right? There is a wave for Dynamics 365 where you you would see new features and capabilities towards Dynamics 365 for customer engagement apps like sales, customer service, and marketing, and a way for Power Platform with new features and capability at the platform level and the global features around Power Apps. We will talk about few usability and productivity features in the next slide, features that end user will certainly love. You can start turning on today the Wave 2 for your sandbox organization to start experiencing the public preview features and capabilities, or features that are made available at this time. What it does is it will help you get familiar with some features and plan the communication for adoption with your end users before they become general available. This time around, we have added the change story link for Dynamics 365 and Power Platform. So the change history link is updated when a feature's release date changes or when a feature is added or removed. One message I wanted to enforce is that all the features included in Wave 2 don't land in October, but each feature will have its own release schedule, date or public preview and general availability. At this point, the product group has been doing a great job keeping the documentations around the release plan really well updated. So go out there and you can check on all those features availability. All right, so we added in Wave 2 great features around Power Apps for usability and productivity improvements, right? Things that will facilitate end users' life and we hope improve the adoption at the same time. As you know, the centerpiece of our apps is around data, how we make information and bring value out of the data. That's what we will want to bring in the product in the Wave 2. So we improved the discovering data features, right? They were already there, but we added some improvement where now in the new global search is powered by relevant search, which will make the search faster and more accurate with more intelligence. Now, one thing that I want to highlight here is the global search will be enabled by default across all the organizations as the Wave 2 land in your organization. So if this is something that you haven't enabled, I'm talking about the relevant search, so that would be a good time to enable it, to try it out and make sure that it meets your needs or actually work with your Microsoft contact to make sure that the relevant search is something that you can leverage in the future before the Wave 2 lands. The second item that I wanted to introduce here is the customizable quick actions. It helps you find and act on your information with ease and without losing the context, which is also a great feature of end user feature. The advanced lookup provide a set of usability enhancements to help you explore and find your data easily. Also, we have the Power Apps grid, which comes with a new grid, a new read-only grid control following accessibility standards. So all of these, features are not new. They have been improved to enhance the end user experience. All right. Still on the same line, we have the accessibility updates have been done with page support for the zoom up to 400%. We improved the progressive collapse and keyboard support access as well. We have also improved the sharing record. Actually, this is the user's real experience, a new and streamlined user interface experience when sharing records with other users and team in the model-driven app. The bulk edits. Now, user can just edit multiple rows quickly by using the user interface and looking like they're using the user interface dialog experience. So at this point, the new experience lets users choose the form most familiar to them or easily switch between forms if needed to edit fields on the records. It's also supporting the mobile experience. The other one, really great features will be the app level panes, where in the model-driven apps now, we're supporting the ability to have multiple app level side panes. This new feature creates a collection of tabs, each with a different pane. So there is much more, I would say, custom information that you can show on your landing page or on your entity record. So we brought in also some other modern experiences. So it touches more, I would say, the system administrator, system customizer. The first one that I want to introduce is the custom pages. So in a model-driven apps, it will provide you the flexibility and ease of ordering, which are difficult to accomplish within existing model pages. So the app creation in Power Apps is no longer an upfront decision between the canvas and model. When you start with the model-driven apps, you can easily now add a custom pages to take advantage of the power of the canvas. You can even think about, in some scenarios, using custom pages where previously you were using the HTML resources. The second one is the app designer, right? It's now easier and faster than ever to get started and build model-driven apps. We want to make sure that we are more intuitive with our tool. In this specific case, to add grids on form on top of your Dataverse and preview your app changes directly in the creation experience. The last item that I want to introduce here also is your modern browser. So Power Apps, as you know, is supporting the latest browser so that you can experience and create apps with the right speed for your applications. Mainly, we recommend you to check out Microsoft Edge if you are running a legacy browser or any Chromium-based browser technology, right? Some customers can leverage or Chrome or Microsoft Edge. Those will be the two best modern browser we would recommend at this point. The legacy custom app that won't work on those modern browser need to be evaluated and then updated. All right, so this is a very interesting and exciting feature that's now landed in the Power Apps. So the model-driven apps now can notify users while working within the web or mobile app with the in-app notifications, right? So to enable this feature, makers need to opt in to show the notification center and those to users for each model-driven app. You will see samples of different notifications in the standing app notification within model-driven apps page that is presented on this slide. But the main thing here is when do you want to use the in-app notifications, right? So basically, I have a lot of customers asking me about the difference between push notifications versus in-app notifications. I would say that this is the multi-channel approach communication that we come up with now to contact and engage or re-engage our end users with your app, right? So the use of a combination of mobile push notification and in-app messaging. I would say that push notifications comes to mind when you think of mobile app messaging. You can engage with users that are not active in your app. Works more like SMS message, right? Sending a reminder or warning on status updates of events or activities, or send application related updates, reminder that are time sensitive. That's more the scenarios where I will work with the push notifications. Now, in-app notifications, which is the new in public preview now, will be used to point out the new app features to give users more value out of an application. Certainly, I think it will be very powerful also during the onboarding process of your new users. All right, so comes to Power Apps portal. Now on the Power Apps, on the portal side, the portal's 2021 release with 2 list features that are planned to release from October 2021 through March 2022, and is focused on enhancements in the areas of portal platform, new capabilities for pro development, and increased developer productivity. I think several new capabilities are being added with a specific focus on pro development, such as the portal support for PCF framework and portals web API support for Microsoft Dataverse custom actions. And on the core platform side, there is the relevant search integration in portals. All right. We also have some new features that became general available on the Dynamics 365 marketing side. So this one is about the Dynamics 365 marketing customer journey orchestration. So journey is created with Dynamics marketing 365 marketing are customer led, right? They can start or stop when an event is triggered and can be executed in real time. We have great stories of several customers that are already using these capabilities to elevate experience for their customers. So over the few weeks also, there will be a 3-part blog series that will, give a deeper look into how businesses are already using customer journey orchestration and driving business value. So you can go out there and use some of these links that are provided to have a better understanding of and see the value of the Dynamics 365 marketing customer journey orchestrations. More on the backend platform side. So now we are now announcing the VNet connectivity for Power Platform data flows, which is in public preview. When we talk about data, we talk about security and privacy mainly, right? So our key focus has been on protecting your data on the Microsoft Cloud and ensuring secure and authorized access to the data. Early this year, we introduced VNet connectivity for Power BI datasets, and we are now excited to announce the public preview of the VNet connectivity for Power Platform data flows. The new VNet connectivity feature enables secure outbound connectivity from Power Platform data flows to data sources within your Azure VNet. So do try this feature and continue to send us feedback on how we can improve it, but also what new capabilities you would like to see in the future. In the future. One important message is to keep reviewing and tracking the deprecation log. With the deprecation dates and retirement dates, it will help you formulate and plan ahead for update or replacement of deprecated features. So I provided a list here of the deprecated features that will happen from August to October 2021. One of the most important one will be that need to be is the important deprecation will be the WS Trust authentication type deprecations. I believe that if you have integrations, you would want to check on these deprecations and then make sure that you formulate an action plan to update your integration endpoints or make sure that the authentication it will work as expected. We also have some client APIs that are deprecated that will be in April 2022. Microsoft will come up with some more information on alternative. All right, so that covers the customer engagement side of things in terms of featured news. I'm gonna turn it over to Ryan.
Thank you. So for finance and operations, let's go ahead and start with the first slide here for finance insights for forecast bank balance. This is really a super exciting feature that every organization should have some interest in. The idea of maintaining your cash flow is really something that can cost your organization a lot of money or really have some missed opportunities to do more with your cash. So there's actually several features associated with this functionality that are part of the Finance Insights offering that is becoming generally available in October here. So there's a lot to unpack kind of in the screenshot. I recommend everyone take a look at the documentation and dig more in here. But the couple things I wanted to point out here is that in talking with a lot of customers, this cash flow process is very tedious. It's very repetitive, which leads to people doing siloed work and doing multiple versions of this in disconnected systems. We have a new AI-powered capability as part of this Finance Insights that will make this much better for everyone. So this will really help to eliminate data silos and have a connected data experience. We use time series forecasting and customer payment predictions to give better accuracy in your actual predictions and your future-looking cash flow processes. So this is really cool. We have some links here, and I strongly recommend that everyone takes a look at this if you haven't already. The next feature up that I want to talk about is Budget Proposal. Budget Proposal is another feature in the Finance Insight family. So what this is a typical budgeting process involves, again, a lot of tedious, repetitive processes. So what we do here is we have a new form that leverages AI in order to take whatever you set up in terms of actuals and budget to go back over a period of time, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, the more data you give it, the better. It'll go back, look at that history, and then give you a proposal for your budget going forward. So with that data, then you can have a great starting point where you've automated all that tedious data capture, and then you can go ahead and add your own knowledge on top of it, saying, in history, it didn't know about these factors that I know have changed, and kind of add your value on after the fact to kind of take forward the things that aren't captured in previous history that will be coming up that you need to adapt to. So again, another October general availability, part of the Finance Insight family. Intelligent order management. So this is a whole big set of features here and is relevant for anyone with inventory needs in Dynamics. So within this feature set, there are a number of sub features, but this really helps enable organizations to orchestrate order flows across different platforms and apps. So often there's many disconnected systems that are part of this type system. So Intelligent Order Management offers this with a number of sub-components, including an Intelligent Order Management app that gives an interface to view the orders and the fulfillment state. It provides that single place to view orders regardless of the order source or how they were fulfilled. It enables several providers, which enable the transfer of orders and fulfillment across the different platforms and apps. Orchestration, which provide flows that configure the to manage the journey of an order. An inventory visibility service, which provides real-time visibility of inventory. A fulfillment optimization, which is a service that can be leveraged through the orchestration flow. And then insights. So we get all kinds of order and fulfillment metrics that can aid us in decision making going forward. So there's a lot to unpack here, and we'll talk a little bit more. There is a tech talk available for this as well, in addition to the documentation. Next up, we have some additional capabilities to add additional, I don't know if integration is the right word, but give additional visibility into other tools you may be using as part of your dynamic ecosystem. So we have a new feature to enable embedded third-party apps. This gives us to do full page applications either in the as a workspace page or in an individual workspace itself. So in the top screenshot example, we can go ahead and add a URL or a full page Power App in our main workspace page, or the bottom example, I can add a Power App or a URL within the context of a workspace. So there's lots of examples where you may be using an additional service or some other portal to get information. So with this, you can leave the users in Dynamics and easily get access to those solutions without having to leave Dynamics. So we have a docs page there. There's some requirements as far as making sure that the solution enables having it inline, but that's a great solution to kind of integrate other experiences into Dynamics. For any organization dealing with credit card transactions in Dynamics, those credit card transactions are stored as large binary objects in the database. Typically, you need to store that data for quite some time in order to be able to handle returns and things like that. So over time, those blobs take up quite a lot of space. So what we've enabled in the 10.017 release is we allow you to archive those transactions and move them out of Dynamics into Azure Blob Storage. So you still have them for historical purposes, but then you can go ahead and then run a delete from the Dynamics database. So you can free up space and still have the ability to come back to those if necessary, assuming they're out of the standard return window that you'd want to be careful of. But that's a great feature that's really easy to use. Check out the docs to learn more on that. Next up, I want to talk about a couple deprecations. So for Lifecycle Services, we're making a number of changes to our monitoring platforms that allow more proactive and automated actions from the Dynamics platform rather than relying on users to do things. So what we have here is in LCS, we are removing a number of queries listed in the description here. There's a docs page you can take a look at to get more information on, but this is a pretty quick deprecation. So this is planned for October 2021, so right here in the next month. Next up, we have one more set of deprecations. We have SQL actions in LCS. So again, with our automated monitoring tools, we can take care of these actions proactively for customers. So we have several other actions within LCS that now we're handling automatically. And again, October 2021 is the planned deprecation date for these. All right, well, that wraps up the finance and operation apps part of things. Let's go ahead and send it back to Gilles for the next section here.
Yeah, thank you, Ryan. So there's a lot to unpack here. This is about the product updates on Dynamics 365 for customer engagement apps and Power Platform. But then we make it easy, right? The product we come up with the product updates links, and I hope that anyone in Dynamics and Power Platform universe would want to bookmark these links to understand how we manage updates and when we come up with our general availability news, right? This is a crossover different product dynamics. It's crossover, over different products, Dynamics 365, Power Platform, Portal, where we will mention the release schedule and detailed on each features, provide their availability time frame. So make sure that you keep track of these pages to understand how these updates and release work. All right, so in addition to release wave, which comes twice a year, there are minor service updates that usually comes in weekly to your cloud organizations. They are separate from the release waves. So the service updates contain both application and platform changes that are typically minor improvement to the service. Usually they don't come with new capabilities or features. There is an article that comes every Tuesday to indicate current version and next version for each region. So to determine which version your organization has applied, you can click on the gear icon in the upper right corner and then click on the about. And with the version number, you can correlate it with the version on the website for version matching. All right, so for the on-premise side as well, there are updates available for the CRM version 9.x and the version 8.2. Now, 8.2 is out of mainstream support, so only security updates will be released if needed. The last update for 8.2 came in on April 2021, and we for the CRM v9 version, we are still releasing the current service updates, usually monthly. On the portal side, again, the Wave 2 release is now available. However, on the portal version update, the version 9.3.7 is now available. So now what I want you to understand is the portal consists of two components, the portal solutions and the portal website host. The portal website host are updated automatically to the latest version, typically on a monthly basis. The portal solutions are updated by the customers. If the portal solution requires updates, those will be specified and require customer action to do so in the Power Platform Admin Center. We recommend that you update solution packages during the off-peak hours. The best guidance recommend to test the updates early in Sandbox before moving them to prod. To test this updates early, one option will be to opt in your test or dev portal instance into the early upgrade for portals. The early upgrades are rolled out at least 1 week before the global rollout of any release. The tip is, as you cannot opt in the same month, consider opting ahead. All right, so there are Power Apps Portal preview features. They are all in public preview, which means the capabilities are all available for testing purpose in Sandbox or dev environment. To improve, we mainly release features to improve the pro developer experiences. So the Power Apps portal, edit portal with Power Platform VS Code extension. It's in public preview. The VS Code extensions for portals adds the capability to configure portals using VS Code and utilize the built-in Liquid language IntelliSense, enabling help with code completion. Also assistance in hinting while customizing portals interface using VS Code. There is another public preview, which is the introduction of Power Virtual Agents integration using chatbots. So it will allow to add the Power Virtual Agents chatbot to answer questions posted by a visitor on your portal page. The chatbot can be configured with different topics and trigger phrases, can automatically respond to questions posted by a visitor in the chat conversation. Another public preview for on the portal side is the portal's web API enhancement. So enhance portal web API by adding support for Microsoft Dataverse custom actions and portal access permission configurations. You can, of course, learn more about these updates on the Power Apps portal blogs link here. Now, on the Power Automate desktop update side, the latest updates are from August 2021, which is really recent. So some of the features are actionable connectivity errors, message in console and designer, introduction of new Excel-related actions, and improvement of the action set screen resolutions. So again, here on the Power Automate blogs, you can use that link to learn more on, the details of these new feature. All right, back to you, Ryan, for the finance and operations app side.
Thank you. So the first thing we want to call out is that we do have an announcement that we do have finance and operations is now, if you want to go to the next slide, we do have an update that finance and operations is now in the GCC or Government Community Cloud. So we've had a few features in there previously, but this is the first time that finance and operations have been available. So the GCC provides, among other compliance commitments and reviews that are documented in the Microsoft Trust Center, the service has received several Agency Authority to Operate, or ATOs, since it was originally launched in January 2015. So exciting that we can now offer finance and operations to our government customers here. Next up, let's talk about what's coming with service update availability. So 10.0.21 is the most recent generally available update. 10.0.22 will become generally available in October. So make sure you're keeping track of what's coming and your next potential update there. As a reminder, you can be up to 3 versions behind for service updates, but auto updates will always use the newest version available. So keep track of the dates here to make sure you're not surprised on that. 10.0.22 is available for PEEP testing. So if you are in your in the PEEP program, you can get early access to that. If you're not in the PEEP program, that is easy to get into. So check into that if that's not something you're doing today. For other deprecations, we talked about the first couple in LCS. In addition to the ones in LCS, we do have some retail announcements for our commerce solution. So the retail SDK is going to be changed in how it's distributed. So take a look at our docs there if you want more information. And then we have some changes to the deployable packages going forward as well. So definitely check that out if you have a if you're using our commerce solution today. For the development VMs, we are going through a round of updates. So a couple of things you want to be aware of. We are replacing 2017 with Visual Studio 2019 as the new default going forward. So just double check that everything is working and don't get caught by surprise with any new updates on the Visual Studio side. Windows Server 2019 is the new VM operating system, so it'll be great to have that and have the new stability and features as part of Windows Server for our development virtual machines. Gilles, if you want to take us on to tech tips.
Sure. Thank you, Ryan. So let's talk about the tech tips for Power Platform and Dynamics 365 customer engagement apps now. So this is more for educational purpose for Dynamics 365 apps for customer engagement administrator. You might already know, but just as a reminder, Power Platform and Dataverse admin can now manage their application users, security roles, teams, and users on the Power Platform Admin Center. You can do all that without having to access the Dataverse environment directly, right? There are multiple links that will cover how to use all these features in details. So if you click on the link on this slide, it will provide you with details on manage application users in the Power Platform Admin Center, security roles and privileges in Power Platform, create users and assign security roles in Power Platform, and Dataverse teams management. All right, so in on the Power App side, Canvas components can now access apps scope directly. We did this to make it easier to share components across apps by using a component library. Until now, Canvas components have been properly encapsulated and could not access information and resources from the app. Everything needed to be passed into the component through input properties. But sometimes you want to define a component just for this app. You want to reuse the UI widget or create a user-defined function as an output property. So you can share it in the app scopes, and that's why we have introduced a new component setting that does exactly this access app scope. All right, one more item on the Pro Dev section for Power Apps. We are announcing the public preview for connection references support in Power Platform Build Tools, which is a long-awaited capability. As you know, connector is the interface used by the Power Platform application to connect with a data source, and the connection contains the identity or the means with which the connector can get to the data. The connection reference is a value that binds together the connector and connection details with a given application that needs to move from a source environment to a target environment. The public preview capability does not create the connection ID in the target environment. It must be manually created, but once the values are in the file, then the CI/CD pipeline can proceed as normal with the solution deployment. You can get more technical information and simple code in the link provided here. All right, so writing Power FX formulas with natural language is in a public preview. With the announcement at this year's Build conference, you may have already heard about the Power Apps Ideas and AI-powered assistance to help anyone create apps using natural language will be out. Now this feature is in public preview. With this feature, you can just type in your thought in plain English, search, example search, contact with full name in text search box 1 and sort result by created on letters on top. And yeah, this is that easy. I will recommend you to check out the link provided for more examples and details. All right, so here on more pro dev capability, add code to your custom connector. Custom connector developers can now add C# code directly within the custom connector result. This new experience is currently available in public preview. Now you can support more transformation scenarios without having to worry about hosting your code. Prior to this new experience, payload transformations were limited to policy templates. Some examples include sending external requests to fetch additional data are available on the link provided, which is very well documented. All right, on the monitoring side, log plugin telemetry to our application insight resource is available right now. You can opt in to the application insight integration. You can also use the new plugin telemetry .ilogger interface in your plugin code. Actually, you should use iLogger because it allows telemetry for events that occur within a plugin to be integrated with the larger scope of data captured with the application insights integration. The ICE tracing service available for plugins has never been intended to provide a telemetry solution. It is intended to facilitate debugging runtime errors. So with the iLogger, you can capture true telemetry data that will persist for as long as you choose to retain it. This data will allow you to capture metrics over time and use application insights capabilities to view and analyze the data. You can configure alerts to be sent when specified conditions occur. All right, back to you, Ryan.
Thank you. So as far as tech tips for finance and operations, so the one example that I wanted to talk about today is Todd wrote up a wonderful article on how to use long-running batch jobs with Power Automate. You'll want to take a look at the blog. There's a couple caveats he called out here, especially applying some care in how many of these you choose to monitor, because there are some downsides as far as the resource usage in if you were to not put some restrictions in how many of these you're looking at. But for critical batch jobs that you're expecting to run in a certain time or that you want to monitor, it's a great end-to-end example you can follow to get an email and be notified when a job is taking longer than maybe what you'd expect. So definitely check that out and learn more about how you can leverage Power Automate to get this kind of notification. All right, back to you.
Thank you, Ryan. All right, on the learning corner side, we're gonna talk about the new batch of task-based and overview videos that have been published for Dataverse and Dataverse for Teams. So if you are starting with Dataverse and Dataverse for Team or even existing or seasoned users, this is a list of curated contents that we have put together to provide some tips and tricks that could benefit you. Same types of videos are also provided for a more administrator profile below. So we try to categorize them, but make sure that you check out the Dataverse playlist on the YouTube channel to see all the videos, and certainly the one that will have interest for you. Again, you can also check out this set of on-demand videos for best practices in administering apps in Dynamics 365. This can be used as a refresher for existing Dynamics administrator, or serve as a readiness for the new Dynamics administrator as well. So personally, I enjoy the capacity management one. I learned from the best practices series as well. So I will highly recommend to go out there and pick topics that matter most for you. All right, back to you, Ryan.
Thank you. It looks like on our blog, we have a number of topics that you can keep up on learning about more features, learning about some functionality and Dynamics 365 finance and operation apps. It looks like there's a familiar looking blog poster here on the first example. I go into an example of a new electronic reporting report where you can get a trial balance, including unposted detail. So we have good velocity with new features come out every month that we highlight, and you can go into the blog for more examples of how you can get detailed examples to learn more about these and save you some legwork in having to figure some of these things out. The second blog in the list is, if you haven't already taken a look at Brent's monthly update that he posts. It's kind of a different version of what we give here today, in that it's a little bit more links from around the community, gives you kind of a short email version of kind of the critical stuff with version numbers and things like that, and gives you kind of an easy to consume, quick, skimmable format to keep you updated on what's going on in the different communities. So definitely recommend you take a look at that if you aren't today. One more slide I wanted to call out is for everything Dynamics 365 finance and operation apps. Take a look at our tech talks. So we have good velocity coming on these, that different members of the product team and community will go ahead and do these detailed tech talks. So just in the last month, we have 3 new tech talks. We have the one on what's new in supply chain management, which covers kind of a variety of features. We have what's new for configurable business documents. Really cool stuff. I haven't seen enough customers using these, but really great way to get data into Word documents, Excel documents, everything else to either share with customers or use for internal reporting. But a lot of great functionality in there if you've never taken a look at that area. And then finally, intelligent order management, which I highlighted earlier in the presentation today. We have a deep dive by Lachlan going into a good overview of this. There's a lot to consume, so it's great to get kind of that hour-long, little bit deeper overview to know what all's there and how to get started. That wraps up what I have today. Let's go ahead and transfer it over to Ryan, and he will close us out.
All right, thanks. Thank you everyone for joining. Thanks Gilles, thanks Ryan for doing the presenting. Great job. Thanks Kenneth for handling the a lot of the Q&A and the moderation over there. Appreciate it. We do have a couple of links there on this slide, and they're also in the announcements. You can find the actual link to these slides, and we'll put the recording of this up on the those 2 blog articles. You can also reach us at PFE Dynamics on Twitter, and then wanted to mention one more time, we do have the survey link in the announcements section as well. So if you have any feedback on how we can make this more valuable, feel free to give us some feedback there. So thanks again for joining, and hope everyone has a great day.